All right, here we have another Bot 10 art short. This is an interview with creature designer Crash McCreery. If you're not familiar with his work, he has created various monster designs, and as of late, he worked for Halloween Horror Nights um, as basically a designer and recreating or reimagining uh, the Universal monsters for Halloween Horror Nights. So this is his interview, and let's see what he's got to say.
I'm Crash McCreery. I'm the lead designer here at Universal Monsters on the Universal lot. And I'm here to talk about Halloween Horror Nights.
Simple enough, right?
King Kong. I saw King Kong when I was a kid. And I knew
did too.
dinosaurs and monsters, that's what I wanted to do. And weirdly, it's what I ended up doing. So I started working at Stan Winston's studio in 89 actually. And I was there for 12 years. So he was my mentor and got to design a lot of really cool stuff. So that's where I started. I think the one I was most concerned about was Frankenstein. It was real important that when you see him that you know that that's the Universal Frankenstein. So
Frankenstein's
that was kind
monster.
of fun to play with and also kind of push that design a little further. You know, he's got a little bit more going on than the original. I don't think anyone's ever considered Frankenstein as a scary character. Like, it terrified my dad when he saw the original film. Like, they walked home at night in the middle of the street. They didn't want to be on the sidewalk. He said it was the scariest thing he'd ever seen. And nowadays, you know, that bar has been raised to a point where it's really difficult to scare people. So the fact that we're kind of bringing this character back and kind of updating him and putting him in an environment where people are going to be terrified, we can't forget that. We don't want you to feel like you're walking through a museum. Dracula's funny because I don't know, even though it was Lugosi, we didn't want to just kind of recreate Lugosi. We wanted just to kind of find the essence of what Dracula was all about. The werewolf, the original design I'd got from Chris, I didn't recognize him at first as the Universal, werewolf. So he was kind of fun to kind of bring some of that back into it as well, and it's still updated. They all feel updated, but I still feel like they retain that flavor of the Universal kind of version.
Right on.
Chris had some guys do some concept designs and sent them over, and they're so brilliant at what they do, and the mazes really have their own kind of aesthetic that they kind of follow. And for me, I don't really do a lot of gore, but I respected, kind of what they're used to doing and what's going to scare people and what's going to kind of keep the aesthetic going in these mazes. So when I saw the designs, I thought they were really cool, really dynamic, really scary. But I felt like we could infuse a little bit more of the legacy of the Universal monsters, because there have been a lot of versions of werewolves and vampires and even Frankenstein, and we just really wanted to make sure that when you saw these guys, it's like you knew you were looking at the where they all started, the Universal monsters, and kind of bringing that credibility back. So I really didn't do a lot of augmentation to them. I just kind of enhanced those features a little bit, still kind of kept them gory, and even story-wise, because Frankenstein had gotten burned in A Bride of Frankenstein, and so we kind of like accentuated that kind of burn look and showing some of the skull coming through. And Dracula doesn't really look like Bela Lugosi, but it does kind of have the widow's peak, and kind of just a scarier version of what I would like to see Dracula look like. So we went back and forth, quite a bit, and I ended up doing a poster. They showed me the poster that they wanted to kind of do, and so we kind of mocked that up, and it felt good to everybody. And I pretty much retained what they started with, though. I didn't want to step on anyone's toes.
Cool.
I got two boys, so ever since they were, gosh, I don't know what the age limit is, but I brought them in there as soon as I could. It was the event that we looked forward to all year long. Like in May, they'd start getting excited about Halloween Horror Nights.
January.
I'm the best audience when it comes to stuff like that. I was more into watching them kind of be excited about it, and Yeah, there were some great ones. I mean, I can't think of a bad one. They just always had some cool, clever twist to it. Yeah, get a kid that's about this high, always in front of you, that you can just kind of throw at whatever's coming at you. You need a decoy to kind of like, or just be able to hide behind.
Have a straw boy, just like throw it at the scare actor. Right on. So yeah, that was Crash McCreery. Um, and it's always fun to listen to these guys, because they've just been around forever and they're incredibly talented, and it's neat to obviously have to respect the history of the Universal monsters. They've been around forever. It's like a legacy thing, and as an artist, you gotta kind of respect that and push the envelope further to create something new and innovative that people are gonna enjoy. So it's nice to hear interviews like this. So yeah, there you go.